Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today we're going to be making a Yoni cleansing gel. Now for those of you that don't know what that is, it is a shower type gel that is a feminine wash mainly used to clean intimate and delicate feminine parts. I get weekly, if not daily, requests from you all to share with you how to make different types of Yoni products like soaps, cleansing gels, and oils, and I know I'm behind the trend on this and sharing with you how to do this. However, I have been resisting putting a video out on this for a couple different reasons. Through the course of this video, I'm going to talk to you about why I've been resisting this trend. So in this video today, you're going to see my full tutorial and process of how to put together this beautiful Yoni cleansing gel. And if you would like the full written recipe plus a detailed written tutorial with percentages, please head on over to my Patreon campaign where you can unlock this recipe along with 2.5 years of archive recipes for just a $5 pledge. In this new year, I really hope you'll give some consideration to joining my Patreon campaign. There is so much to take advantage of over there. In addition to the recipes and tutorials, there are coupon codes for new patrons to my favorite vendors, along with live monthly hangouts, live classes, and monthly gift packages. So I really hope you'll consider taking a look over there. We've built a wonderful community. All right, let's make some Yoni cleansing gel. Okay, real quick before we get started here, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about why I've been staying away from the topic of Yoni soaps and gels. As you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, this is not a controversial channel, and my social medias, I don't really share or talk about controversial topics. So I've been staying away from it for that reason, because my method is going to be probably a little bit different than some of the things that you guys have seen surrounding the trend of Yoni gels. So number one, something that I really don't like and why I've been resisting putting anything out on the internet regarding Yoni gels and soaps is the different claims and things that people make surrounding this type of soap. So they just simply can't be true. I have seen other people put out on the internet that this soap, their Yoni soap, now that they're using it, has cured their yeast infections or help them to get pregnant or increase their libido, and that just soap cannot do that. And so I just have not liked seeing that part of the trend. It really bothers me because they're just outlandish and false claims. So I thought today I would just share with you what I think is an appropriate method to make a Yoni cleansing gel, and then you can decide for yourself what works best for you. The formula I'm going to be showing you how to make today is going to be comprised of distilled water, gentle plant-based surfactants, floral waters, and some floral extracts. And this is also something I wanted to chat with you about. A lot of people will sell a Yoni cold processed soap style cleansing bar. And there's nothing wrong with cold processed soap. You guys know I love it. I make it and I sell it all the time. However, I don't feel that it's appropriate for intimate areas of the body, and it's not appropriate as a Yoni cleansing bar. The pH of cold processed soap is way too high for that area of the body. As far as I'm concerned, that the pH of cold processed soap is right around a 9 naturally, which is okay for your body and for your hands. However, for me at least, I feel that the pH has to be much, much lower, because the natural pH range of your Yoni area is between a 3.5 and a 4.5. So if you just can't get cold processed soap into a range that low. So to me, cold processed soap is not an appropriate soap to be using in the intimate areas of your body. So we need to bring the pH way down, and a good way to do that is to use plant-based surfactants, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So if you use a soap that's got too high of a pH in your Yoni area, you are going to cause all sorts of problems. Like if you're throwing off the natural bacteria because you're disrupting the natural pH of that area of the body, you can introduce bacteria changes in that area, which can cause yeast infections and irritation. So to me, cold processed soap is just not something that I would use. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is add my preservative to this beaker. So today I'm using liquid germall plus. Now, the reason we're using a preservative is because the pH is in such a low range that this can actually grow bacteria and things in it if we're not preserving our formula. So today we're using liquid germall plus because That is a preservative that's broad spectrum, and it also is great for products that have a high water content like this one is going to have. So we're going to go ahead and put in our preservative. And then to the preservative, we're going to be adding in some glycerin. We're adding 2 different types of humectants. Now, a humectant is something that draws moisture from the air and actually can draw moisture from the air to your skin. So that's an important thing to add into your Yoni gel. So we're going to be adding quite a bit of humectant. And today we're going to be using glycerin as part of the humectant in this ingredient. This is also going to help with bubbles, lather. It's going to help with that to keep the bubbles and foam a little bit longer lasting. And again, it's very moisturizing. Okay, the second humectant that we are adding today is propanediol 1,3. And I got this from Formulator Sample Shop. And again, this is another humectant that's not sticky, and it adds some conditioning properties. If you don't have propanediol, you can definitely just use more glycerin. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is add in our distilled water. Now, everything that I've added so far is all water soluble, so we are making an aqueous solution. So we're not going to be adding any oils to this formula at all. So I'm going to be using some distilled or purified water. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to be adding is some hydrosol. Flowers and flower parts and things like that are a popular thing to add to Yoni type products. And the way that I've decided to incorporate some floral properties to this is to use some calendula hydrosol. I got this from Mountain Rose Herbs. Now, calendula is a plant, a flower that is super soothing, and it's anti-inflammatory, anti-redness. So that's why I've decided to use this very, very gentle hydrosol in this solution as part of the water. Okay. And now next I'm going to be adding in some aloe vera powder. Now this is very, very concentrated and potent. The amount that I have here is, once it dissolves into my water solution here, it's as if we are using pure aloe vera juice. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my aloe vera. Now this is a water soluble product, so we need to stir this up and allow it to dissolve into the water. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you right back for the next step. Okay, so my aloe vera powder is now all dissolved down into my water solution, and the reason why we're using aloe vera is because it's very naturally soothing and hydrating. It will go very well with the already humectants that we've added in here and also the floral hydrosol. So the next thing we're going to be adding to this solution is a calendula extract. This is a nice complement to the calendula hydrosol that we already added. Again, we're going for a very soothing, gentle, and calm formula. So that's what the calendula extract is going to do here. So we're going to go ahead and put in there we go. We're going to give this a stir. And then we're going to be adding in the surfactants. The surfactants are plant-based, and this is what's going to add the bubbles and foam to the cleansing gel. So the first surfactant we're going to be using, and this is our primary surfactant, is cocoa betaine. I'm using cocoa betaine because it's got really nice lather, but it's also very gentle. So we're going to be adding in our cocoa betaine. And then the next surfactant we're going to be using is one called decyl glucoside. And I got this one at, I think I got it on Amazon. It's a very popular, gentle surfactant. This is great for facial washes, shampoos. So we're using it here as well. Okay. And then the last surfactant we're going to be using is foaming oats. Now, this is a very mild surfactant as well. And again, those oats and the foaming oats are very soothing. So we're going to be adding in our last surfactant here. Now, just so that you guys know, I have experimented lots behind the scenes with different surfactants, different percentages of surfactants, more and less, different types. And these are the three that I've settled on because I really like the way they work together. And I think that you'll really appreciate the ratio of surfactant to water. So we're just going to give this a good mix. And then we have 2 final steps left. Now, once you start stirring, after the surfactants are added in, it's very easy to kick up bubbles. So just go slow while you're stirring, and you can use rubbing alcohol to spritz on top to kind of pop those bubbles. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add some thickener. So I wanted to also let you know that I've tried several different ways to thicken this up. I've tried xanthan gum, I've tried cationic guar gum, I've tried salt, and I didn't like how they worked. The salt didn't work at all, and I didn't really like how the xanthan gum and the guar gum, I don't really prefer those thickeners. And they kind of made it a little bit off in texture to me. I like the texture much better using glucose D as the thickener. So that's what we're going to be using today. You guys know I use this one a lot. It is one of my favorites because it adds some conditioning properties to your liquid soap, but it also is a very powerful thickener, and a little bit goes a long way. However, xanthan gum and guar gum does work. If you wanted an alternative to the glucose, it does thicken it. It's just not my favorite way. So I had the glucose D sitting in a hot water bath because it's very hard to incorporate cold. It's super thick and viscous. So this is an as you like type of product. So you add in as much as you like to your desired consistency. It does have a maximum usage rate. However, I've never even come close to the maximum usage rate because, like I said before, a little bit goes a long way. So we're going to just stir this in to incorporate. It's easy to overdo it using this thickener too. So you want to be careful you don't get your formula too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and continue adding a little bits at a time in here until I get my desired consistency, and then I'll bring you back for the next step. Okay, so now that I've gotten it to my desired consistency, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I wanted it to be a very kind of shower gel. Just so you guys know too, I modeled this after a very popular feminine wash that you can pick up over the counter at the store, and that has worked great for me over the years. And so I figured, well, that's kind of what I want to emulate, and that's what I modeled my formula after. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the final step here before we bottle it up, is to balance the pH. This is by far the most important part of this entire process. So I'm using an actual pH reader, and I'm not using strips. I know the pH is going to be too high already because I've done this lots of times now. But I wanted to give you a read. So right now we're sitting at a 6.8, which is almost a 7, and that's just too high. So we are going to go ahead and use some citric acid to go ahead and balance out the pH until we get it down to right around a 4.5 or 4.6. And we are going to be using a little bit of straight citric acid to do that. And also, so you know, I have tried lactic acid. That's also something you can use to lower pH in your formulas. And lactic acid did lower the pH, however, it clouded the formula up significantly. And I just wanted a clear gel. So if you have an 88% lactic acid, or you wanted to try that, you certainly can. But it does make a cloudy formula. Okay, I'm going to continue to add little bits of citric acid until I get the correct pH, and I'll bring you right back when we're all balanced out. Okay, so my pH reader is right around a 4.3, which is perfect. Like I said, the range would be between a 3.5 and a 4.5, and the pH of the one that I tested on, the real popular one that I buy at the store, is around a 4.6. So I am feeling very good with this pH range. And then the last thing we're going to do is go ahead and bottle up our formula. And then I will give you a little bit of a demo just to show you what the lather looks like. I'm just using these bullet bottles. Actually, they're not bullet bottles. They are Boston Round. And I'm going to show you what it looks like after it's bottled up. But also I want to show you what one that's been sitting for about a week looks like. So you can get a good idea of the clarity. Okay. And then actually I think I need to put the rest in a little smaller container here, so I'll be using a little 4-ounce one to put the rest in. Now you'll notice I haven't added any color, which is something I haven't talked to you about either. I know that there are people that do add a little bit of colorant to this. Again, I was modeling mine after a very popular one that you can buy in the store, and it's colorless. And I don't know how appropriate it is, at least for me, to add dyes or colors to this type of soap, this cleansing gel, because again, the simpler the better. We haven't added any fragrance. That could also be irritating. We haven't added any color. You're going to get a little bit of the natural fragrance from the floral hydrosol. That adds a nice, fresh, and kind of herby, light floral fragrance. And then you'll notice that sometimes too that people will add things like seeds or flower petals. And again, for me, the simpler the better. And I just don't want to introduce anything that's going to irritate that part of the body to a cleansing gel. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what one looks like after all the bubbles have settled out, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so this one's been sitting now for about a week, and this was the final formula that I settled on before I decided to share it with you guys, and I've been testing it, and I just wanted to show you that it goes crystal clear. Of course, these bubbles take about 24 hours to settle all the way out, but this is what it looks like when it's all the way done. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a demo. This has a very silky conditioning feel to it. It's really, really nice. You can, of course, just use this on your body or your face as well. So we're going to use a little bit of water to activate it. Now, lather here is not the most important thing. A giant lather on this type of soap is not really something we're going for, although I do like to see it, and I do like a little bit of lather in there. So as you can see, it's got a low foaming, kind of tight, bubbly lather. And I have found it to be just the perfect formula after lots of trial and error on this and getting my ratios just right. So that is how you make a beautiful calendula infused Yoni gel. I hope you really liked this video. I hope you learned something. I hope it inspired you. If it did, please remember to give this video a thumbs up. Please leave a comment or question below. Share this video with a friend and subscribe to my channel. Bye. Keep shining, everybody.